What's going on, y'all? Naftastic, Rodney, you know me. Okay, what I got here today is an odd one, but a good one. It's got a lot of bad reviews, so we're going to look into those real briefly. This is the first initial disassembly. Got this in the mail today. I will be doing possibly a video describing my purchasing experience with Blade HQ. It was a little bit to be desired, to say the least, but I'm not sure if I'm going to do that yet. So anyway, without further ado, via delivery of the Postal Service, we have the OKC Ontario Knife Company, the model number da 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 da. This is the 2QUARED, squared, however you pronounce that. This is a titanium frame D2 flipper with a molded titanium pocket clip. That's pretty neat. Works good in and out of pocket. It's got a nice retention, nice spring. Overall, pretty nice design. I like the flow lines of this knife, the way the blade flows in and out of the frame. Not real big on the squared corners, even though that's sort of the thought process behind it, I suppose. The first initial impressions of the seams are very nice and uniform. Blade centering is right down the middle. The action is not super quick, but not bad. Detent's a little weak. Very nice looking blade shape. I did clean this blade when I first pulled it out. It was covered in like a smut that was all over it. I don't know if that was part of the manufacturing process, but we're going to get into this. So let's get into this. Again, this is the OKC Carter squared in D2. So we have two drivers. We have one that was a gift to the channel from Winchester Inc. and one that I bought from eBay, a CRKT something kind of tool, 9912 is I think the number. So I know that from looking at this knife it takes 6s and 8s. So we'll go ahead and take the 6s out first. We'll start out with the pocket clip. Now I don't do much disassembly on screen, so bear with me. I'm trying to do this from behind the camera, which can get a little odd. Let's see, I thought I had a little tray. We'll use a little tray there to put the stuff in, because I don't want to lose none of these screws. There ain't nothing worse than putting the knife together and you can't find all the hardware. So far these screws were very easy to take out, not tight at all, which tells me they could be tighter. I really like the frame, the way this is cut, and the way that clip hides the end of that line for the frame lock. It's pretty good. And again, the way this is put together, the spacing is really good. There is blue Loctite on those. And I have some new thread locker type product. I don't know if this is spinning. Feels like it's spinning. And it is. So let me grab the 6 in the other one. See if I can do this on camera. Yeah, not a problem. That comes right out. And that's the screws. And there is some micro milling. I don't know if you can really see it on frame, but it is very minimal. Let's get the T6 in the driver here. Put that clip in there. from the reviews and videos I've seen, these things are full of gook. The action does feel a little dirty, so I got a feeling that it's going to need cleaning. It popped right apart, no problem just then. It does have a hardened lock bar insert, which is pretty cool. Something we didn't show was the lockup, but it's was good lockup was good. Let me get my bamboo cloth out here. I found these in the Dollar General. These are bamboo towels, pretty cool, real absorbent, and work really good for knife maintenance. Alright, we have some itty bitty bearings on here. This knife is actually surprisingly clean, y'all. I'm not seeing a lot of gook in here. I do see some. You can see the bearings in there. It's not horrible, y'all. There's the back spacer. We'll take the trusty Q-tip and pull that bearing off. They're a little dirt. You can see a little bit of residue come off on the fingers, but not horrible. Nothing a little bit of cleaning won't take care of. You got the pressed in D-pivot pin. Looks like it's on a hardened washer. Again, the washers, the bearings are not too bad. They feel fairly grit free, dirt free, not much oil. This is where I need a cleaning Q-tips. Now I am going to be doing some mod on this knife, so I'm not going to be doing a Loctited assembly down, because I will be taking it back apart. If you wonder what I'm doing off screen, I'm trying to clean the crud. You can see it's got some on it off of the pivot area. Get that, some of that cotton out of the way. Y'all guys have to bear with me this video. I don't want to waste too much of your time. It is the detent on this feels good. You can see you have the track there where it's riding, and no detent ramp, so I'm definitely going to put a detent ramp on there. And let's see, it is riding on hardened washers or stainless washers, not sure if they're hardened. And I don't know if this pin is pressed in. It feels wiggly, like it wants to come out. Yep, a light press on that. Clean that off. Is a D-shaped pivot. That's nice to see, so it won't spin. And we have the hardened washer that is also got a piece on it, so it does not spin. And I'll clean that area in there, even though there's nothing riding behind it. I don't see any lightning frame skeletonization on this. I'm sure it would take away from some of the weight. If it was, we see we have these brass threaded collars that actually thread the two halves together. And we have the washer on this side. I forget I'm filming and I'm doing a lot of this off the bottom of the screen. But I'm basically wiping the oil and the grease off of those two washers. A lot of times when you get factory knives, I know, especially, you know, knives from China per se, they have a film on them or a grease to protect it, I guess, in shipping and so forth. So it's a good idea sometimes to take your knives apart if you're comfortable doing that. There is no skeletonization on this side either. I am really glad to see that deep hardened insert. And the detent felt good. I'm sure I could overbend this just a little bit to strengthen that detent, but I'm not going to do that right now. I'm going to wipe this bar down. And again, when I'm not going to put the Loctite on it now. I'm going to use the Loctite basically that's already on them. When I put this back together, give this blade a little wipe down around the to get that extra little bit of residue off. Because like I said, it was really filthy. I like the blade shape of this. I really like the blade shape. Just a very nice sheep foot. You can see Ontario knife, Taiwan, and then you can see Carter squared D2. Very minimalistic flipper tab. I might mod that a little bit. I was thinking about possibly putting a Spidey hole type opener in here, but that would take away from the right there where the marking is. So I don't know. I'm definitely going to do some modding to this as far as rounding a few corners and doing some work to the backspacer and some possible ano work. Not sure which type I'll go for yet, but hopefully it'll be interesting and it'll come out well. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to roughly snug these up into the brass pieces just a little bit. To get a little bit of that play out. Not totally, but just a little bit. Because I know we got to be able to have a little bit of shifting to get the alignment of this collar even across this surface here when we put it back together. We want that to be nice and uniform. So we'll take the little washers, which are not racetrack, but they do have the little grooves somewhat already worn into them, and I'll place that back into that there. And I'll take this D-shaped pivot that I'm going to drop on the floor and lose and press it back through the hole. And everything's fitting together really good. I must have got lucky because of the few videos I've seen other reviewers, they were just horrible. I mean, horrible. This one here, y'all, is not that bad. Not that bad at all. And that's, you know, that could be me. Now we got the bearings here. Let me get these right here and give them a quick little rub in the cloth. Let's see what kind of residue we get off of them. Yeah, you can see there's A little bit of crud in them, but not bad. You could probably take some compressed air and really blow them out, but then you take a chance of kicking the balls out possibly. But yeah, I got some little bit of dirt. Not bad. Not as bad as some I've seen. Alright, I'm going to pause and come back because I don't know when this camera is going to cut off. So hold on. Well, I paused it, but I didn't cut it off, so I got 5 minutes left. And if I have to do it in 2 pieces, I'll just do it in 2 pieces. I think it does it automatically. Alright, so we're going to lay the bearing side to the blade and the open tongue and groove, sort of the channel. I like to take the channels and put them to the outside and put the folded side away from the blade. So this side here against the blade and this side here against the washer. So you can sort of see which side I have against the blade. And I have 2 products here. When I do use thread locker, I have some Vipertite. One is just a standard blue thread locker in medium strength, and it's oil tolerant. And then I have a low strength. So depending on what I'm doing, I will add that. And in one of the videos, I was wondering, is this backspacer? It is titanium. At least it's not magnetic and it's not heavy enough to be stainless. So I'm pretty sure the entire knife is titanium. Now, I have some KPL here, even though this is not in a KPL tube, because one of my critters decided to munch on my bottle and I come home to it leaking. So now I have it in this little bottle, which I don't like, but so be it. That's all I got. Alright, so now we're going to take this blade and lightly, try not to get oil everywhere, slide it over, and we can see that this internal stop pin, which is just really an ingenious idea. I'm not sure who come up with that, but it is just awesome. It works really well. Alright, now take this second set of bearings, again with the flanged side away from the blade, or away from the frame. I'm sure it doesn't matter. That's just my personal preference that I do that. And put just a little bit of KPL. Again, it don't take much to go crazy on that stuff. And this is the light, not the heavy. Alright, now this knife so far is a really breeze. Now we have, don't want to forget, the last washer for this side. Having a moment here thinking, alright, did I do the last washer? Yeah, I did the last washer, I remember. Alright, now we're going to slide this over and click it together and get that pin down in there. And I'm just going to lightly put the pivot screw in. Oop, I'm going to make a mess with the KPL. And if you ever have trouble getting a thread started, if you will, when you engage it into the collar, the screw, the nut, bolt, whatever you're putting it into, if you'll back it up, reverse it, of course this is if it's right-handed threads, if you reverse it until you hear or feel a little click and then start to turn it in, you're always pretty sure you will not cross thread it. Doesn't work every time, but it does really help. So again, these screws are lined up, and it's just a matter of taking the clip and the right screws and these screws were short ones for this. Again, these were T6s, so lay that in there. Take the T6. Again, reverse it till you feel it click. And then it goes right in. Now again, I'll have to get this lined up just right to get the back spacer right. And then I grab the right screw, yeah. Don't want to get that tight yet until I get this rear frame right, and it's pretty much right where it needs to be. Back off just a little bit. I'm sorry, I'm doing it off camera again, ain't I? I'm trying to get this nice and flush back here so it looks pretty and pristine, right? See if I have enough strength in my fingers to hold that with this side. I'm trying to do this so y'all can see it on camera, guys. Whew, the things we do. Alright, just snug, because these are small screws. You really don't want to torque them down too much. I mean, you want to torque them, of course, but you don't want to apply so much pressure you're ripping the threads off, because it's a small screw and it's in brass, so you could easily over tighten it very easily. So I'm looking for fit and finish. Feels pretty good. It's a little bit proud right there, so I will back off and open this blade up. See if I can push that out with the Q-tip just a little bit. That's a little better. Like I said, I'm going to be taking this thing back apart and doing multiple mods and whatever have you to it. So I'm not worried about getting it set perfectly as far as this back piece, because one of the things I'm going to do, y'all, is I'm going to be modding this back spacer quite a bit. I'm thinking maybe action is about the same. It feels a little cleaner. Let's see, get that blade. Right to the center. What do you think, guys? I think it's in the center. Action is good. It's not much better than what it was. I think this knife would, with time, is going to break in really nice. I think it'll really improve from a detent ramp point of view. I think I'm going to enjoy doing that. And now what's left is the pocket clip, and then that's it. And I'm going to modify and tweak it a little bit too. It's got this funky edge going on here. I'm going to get rid of that, I think. That little hump right there in the center. Straighten it out some. Actually give this a wing up. Sort of like this wing down, almost like a pterodactyl wing. I know that gets you, doesn't it? It gets me. Alright. Lay that in there. Again, this pocket clip, I was really happy with the way it worked in and out of pocket. Works good in thicker jeans. This is a beefy knife. It's got some weight to it. It's not a doll baby. Yeah, I definitely need to tweak that some. Again, these screws will be easy to strip out, but I'm sure Ontario Knife Company would be willing to replace knives or screws for it if you reached out to them. Yeah, that's you can't beat that with a stick. I'm really digging this knife, y'all. I'm so glad I got it. Got a real good deal on it. Blade HQ was running a special for $70 plus tax and shipping. So, oop, there I go, denting it. Luckily, it's pretty tough. But the Ontario 2QUARED, squared. How do you say that, y'all? How do you say 2QUARED? Quared, squared. I reckon that's what they're doing. So stay tuned for the mods on the backspacer. Some radiusing, sort of crowning the entire knife. Imagine that's one of the things I'm going to do. I'm going to crown everything, y'all. I'm going to leave the blade because it's a black wash. The blade will be left alone, not doing nothing yet. I was going to put a hole in it. I'm not going to do that now. And this would look really good crown, but I would have to re-acid wash it, which I still might do. Never know. Acid wash it. Acid wash it. Etch it. But all the corners, everything, in every corner, a nice radius, almost like taking a 3/32 radius roughly and put over the entire knife, adding a few holes here and there, not necessarily in the frame, but maybe in the back spacer, doing something to it, adding some texturing here or there, and then some anode colors to make it pop. And that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to rodify it, y'all. That's right. And I'm not going to modify. I'm going to rodify. I like that it's got a detent hardened insert and you can't see it from the exterior. That's a nice touch. And I also like the way the interior is relieved for the lock bar, for the frame lock, and not the exterior. That's a nice added touch. I also like how this clip blends over the top of the transition for the frame lock release that they've done here. The only thing I wish that was different was, since we have the black screws here, maybe have the pivot and the pivot screw in black, or either have these screws in black. What do y'all think about that? I'm wondering if that's titanium screws as far as the pivot. Nope, it's stainless. And that's okay. The screws might be titanium. Not getting any magnetic pickup. Any magnetic pickup on the screws. Nowhere. So the screws could be magnetic. What do y'all think about that? Maybe doing some anode on the screws. I don't know. That's what I got for you today. And stay tuned for a possible Blade HQ rant. If y'all want to hear it, leave in the comment section. Of course, I might tell you anyway if you don't want to hear it. I might not. I don't know. Sort of up in there. I really like this blade shape. The flow lines. Using all that blade space. Can it cut you? If you stick your finger in there, it will. But when it's closed, no, you can't get cut. That's really nice. Big old knife. We're looking at blade length of about 3.5 cutting edge. Overall length of 2, 4, 6, 8, and 3/8. Did that off screen. And a hefty old weight of, and I'll leave y'all alone because I got to go to bed. I need my beauty sleep. I can get this thing to zero out. In grams, We're 186.6 grams, 6.58 ounces. That's a big old beast. $186.5 grams. Alright, y'all. Again, this is the last time I'm going to tell y'all bye. Knifetastic. We'll talk to y'all later. Keep that edge right. And be safe out there in knife land. God bless. Bye now.